Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for joining me. In the previous session we set up our events, the first part of code structure, event, if, and then. Our events being which key has been pressed, 1, 2 or 3. We also quickly coded in the then part, telling the object to set its sprite. In the event that key 1 is pressed, then set sprite to rock. In this session we are going to assign the variables of rock, paper and scissors to determine the player's choice. We are going to code in our first if statement to establish whether the player can play or not. Remember, a variable is a named value that can change. We are going to create variables for our player object named rock, paper and scissors. With these we can then say that if one of these are assigned to 1, then we do have it, but if it is assigned to 0, then we don't have it, just like saying something is true or false, 1 or 0. To create variables, open your player object and click Variable Definitions. Click Add in the bottom right to create one. I'm going to name this Rock, ensuring that I don't use any capital letters, one of our rules in naming conventions. The value of 0 is default and perfect. I'll do this for paper and scissors. Great, we've created our variables and they're now ready for us to start manipulating. I want to say that in the event that we press key 1, then I'll set my sprite to rock and assign the variable rock to 1. Rock is true. So I'll double click into the event, search variable in the toolbox search bar and drag in assign variable. I'll say that the name of the variable that I'm changing is rock and its new value is 1, true. I'll do this for paper and scissors. Nice. Now, unfortunately, assigning these variables works under the hood and we won't immediately yield results for us to see just yet. But we are nicely set up for the next session, in which we'll code in our win conditions, and at that point this step here becomes very important. At this point it would be a good idea to update your journals before continuing while it's fresh in your minds. Now we'll start coding in our first if statement. This will determine whether the player can play so that they are not to break the rules by changing their selection. In our human language, the code will sound something like, in the event we press key 1, if we can play, then we'll set our sprite to rock and rock becomes true and we can no longer play. In order for this to work, we need to create a new true or false variable named can play. If can play is true, then we set to rock, etc. If can play is false, then nothing happens. Over here in the variable definitions, I'll click add, change my name to can_play. Now remember, the second rule in our naming conventions is that underscores replace space, and that's done by the shift and the minus button on your keyboard. I'll change the value of can play to 1 or true. This player can play by default. Now time to code in the if statement. I'll head over to key press 1 event. I'm searching for if in the toolbox and I'll drag it on top of my code. So this box is saying if the variable name is equal to 0, then. So I'll change the variable name to can play, notice the autofill, and I'll say that this variable is equal to 1. Notice to the right it says empty. this is where your then statement should go. If can play is equal to 1 or true, then set sprite and assign variable rock to 1. I now want to say that the player cannot play anymore, as they have already made their choice. To do this, I'll assign can play to 0 or false by dragging in the assigned variable named can play to a value of 0, false. And I'll repeat this for paper and for scissors. Great. I'll play the game by pressing the play button in the quick menu. Awesome. I can't break the rules of rock, paper, scissors, and I'm only able to make one choice. Alright. That's enough for now. Make sure you save your project by clicking File, Save. Once you've done that, upload the entire project folder to your OneDrives, ready to be used next week. Thanks guys.